So today we're going to put the engine in. Hopefully this is the last time that, we have to pull it out, put it in, take it out. This is never fun to do in this car just because it's so tight. I do have to do a couple other things, like I have to drill more holes. So what I did, I ordered the wrong mount for my R154. This cross member deal is right, but I had to cut. There was a bolt hole back here, but I cut that off because it bolted up to the trans, but the engine wasn't far enough back. Either it wasn't far enough back or far enough forward for these mounting holes to bolt up, and these ones. So what I did is it was kind of sketchy, but I eyeballed these two. These ones are fine. I'm not going to use them, but I don't need to cut them off. I might just because. And then I'm going to drill probably 2 more holes, 1 on each side. I'm going to lift the engine in the air. It's already connected to the hoist. I'm going to lift the engine in the air and bolt this up to the trans and then mark out where I need to drill a hole. So then I don't have any issues with where I gotta drill, how big I gotta drill. I'll just take my little marker and yeah. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever do this swap again, but it's in. As you can see in the video, I had to adjust the hoist a little bit, so I had to put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out, and adjust little things just to get it in there. The biggest problem I had was for this car with the R154, you have to put a shifter extension on it. Well, for the 240s, it's 2.5 inches, give or take. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 2.5 inches. For this car, it's 4 3/4 inches, so it's 2 1/4 inches longer, which I think it's the same for the Supra as well, if you want to put an R154 and do an MK4 Supra. So I had to take that off. Still wouldn't fit, so I had to move the shift linkage. I had to just unbolt that and push it forward. I couldn't take it out unless I take the rear tail housing off of the tranny, and I just literally took it off and put it back together to do the shifter extension. But yeah, one thing I'll tell you about that is there's a couple little Torx bits in there that have a ball bearing and a spring. The biggest thing is when you take it all apart and then put it back together, make sure it shifts before you put it in the car. Because I did it 2 or 3 times and the thing wouldn't shift. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, but something wasn't lining up, so I had to there was a couple different times where I had to take the housing off again, put it back on, take it off, put it back on. It was kind of a pain in the ass. But I also did it with the transmission on the engine. And I know a lot of people take the transmission off and like lay it on the ground with the tail shaft up in the air. I didn't do that. I did it with it pretty much like this. And I mean, shit, if you know anything about gravity, things fall. My guess is when I was putting it on, something was, falling, dropping a little bit and wasn't lining up right. So just be mindful of that. Very tight in the back. I even had to clearance it a little bit back there. Back in there. And for the little coolant hose right there, that one's going to be fun. I don't know. What I'm probably going to do is take one of those, not like a worm clamp hose clamp, but like the spring-loaded hose clamp, and put it on that way because I can't even get a screwdriver in back there. So I just got to put the alternator on, the power steering pump. Power steering, all the pulleys are on, and the belt is on. Now I can get started with, welding some more stuff, doing some fab work for the radiator, the intercooler, the intake, the piping, finishing up the exhaust manifold, which a lot of the next video will be the exhaust manifold, doing the wrap, welding on the V-band flange, and that type of stuff. So I'll give you guys a look here in a minute, but also I've already made that next video, so this is being filmed after, just because I forgot to film an outro. Yeah, like I said, the next video we're going to be tackling the manifold and wrapping it, figuring out AN lines, doing some fab work for the radiator, mocking up the intake, trying to see where the power steering reservoir will go, and just miscellaneous stuff. It'll kind of be jumpy, but I'll do my best to put it all together. So now all the pulleys are on. I didn't torque down any of the bolts, but everything's in there. Next big task is fitting the turbo on all the AN lines and finishing up the fuel system, and then probably do the intake piping I want to get all of the, I want to do everything in sections. So I know I'm jumping around with this. So now that the engine's in, now I can focus on the turbo side or the intake side or the cooling side, that being intake and coolant. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell if you want to see more. See you later.